I'm to Part 1. What are your dots? Young and mature alike, there seems to be dots that we place in our narrative. Even more so, there are dots that are placed into our narrative by others. The uncontrolled, unsolicited, and sometimes outright ugly dots that can flip your world. Too often, the dots are negative descriptors that we started to believe because someone said them to us. We believe because we said them to ourselves over and over again, or because of the standards, or what appear to be standards, on display via television, internet, and a host of other outlets. You know what time it is? Let's address some dots. What dots? Of course, I don't know your dots, but I had and have plenty of my own dots that have been changed and rearranged over the years. Some of those dots I kept as is because of the value they hold in their unmodified form. Ooh-wee, let's talk about dots. Where to begin? Perhaps let's start with a physical appearance dot, the weight dot. Yep, I'm going there right away because it had a significant impact on my life as a youth and is still a topic of discussion as I continue to mature. Why wait to talk about weight? Apparently, the world does not stop talking about weight. In the magazines, on the TV, on the internet, while you're shopping, at the dinner table, in every waking moment, there is a discussion about weight. I remember the Lottie Dottie, head bigger than her body, too thin to win. Do you ever eat? When are you going to gain some weight? One of the most profound moments I remember from my youth was when me and my bestie would buy outfits at the mall that were alike to be like identical twins or similar in color and styles, because we surely thought that looking like cohesive units everywhere we went earned us some brownie points of some sort. The dynamic duo, dressed to impress, not worried about the rest. Needless to say, my bestie had developed curves and bumps before me, so her clothing had an outline much more becoming that draped from her body, opposed to my yet underdeveloped youth body. That didn't matter to me. Money in hand, and off to the mall we went. That's right, the mall. We were getting dropped off via car or, my favorite at the time, the city bus. What? The bus? Yes, I had my moments and time riding the bus to the mall. Let me tell you, learning the system and needing to get transfers if we were not going to the mall we considered close at the time. Anyway, enough about my travels to the mall. It was time to shop. Remember some of the descriptors that were mentioned a bit ago? Two of the sayings were regularly used, particularly at the mall and school. Mall goers, people I didn't even know. Lottie Dottie, head bigger than her body, and too thin to win. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. People I didn't even have a personal connection with gave me negative descriptors to reside in my psyche. A shopping we will go, my bestie would say, ignore them, you look fine. I would grin and say, okay, but deep within the dots that were formed made me jealous of her bumps and curves. Why does my bestie have a shape that people like? Why does my sisters have a shape that people like? By the way, I'm the youngest of 5 girls. I got to see and hear all of them get catcalled about the bumps and curves. No bumps and curves on this girl, but I was collecting dots and not favorable ones at that. Are you still bringing up those statements from your youth? Absolutely. Why? Because they have been descriptors that have been said to me my whole life, even to this day. Masked in the background compliments meant to make me doubt who I am, just to make themselves feel good A classic, you look good for your shape. What does that mean? I cannot be any other shape. Maybe I can, but it's highly unlikely. I became the excuse queen to help soothe those who had issues with my weight and size. I would go into elaborate reasons on how I tried to gain weight, how I only gained weight when I was pregnant, and even tried to eat as much as possible as I humanly could in front of others just to prove that I did not have a disorder. Yet, I did have a disorder, the disorder of trying to please people who were not pleased with themselves. Classic people pleasing moment. It's a work anniversary. Time to eat and have my performance review. It is the time in which my then boss would locate a restaurant that would have ungodly amounts of food on the plate to see if I could meet the challenge of consuming everything in front of my face. Challenge accepted. During that time in my life, I was very much into people pleasing. Go along to get along, appease the people so that you don't actually have to address the issue that is glaringly obvious. Okay, it's showtime. Time to order this large lunch meal with a drink and prepare to eat the dessert as well. I form the usual position, review the menu, scan the plates around me, and then make my decision. Order placed to the surprise of the wait staff. Surely they thought my order would come out. I would eat a small portion and package the rest to go. No, not at all. This was my time to prove yet again that I would rise to the challenge, consume all in front of me, wash it down with the beverage, and summon the dessert. In grand fashion, mission accomplished. Oh, did I mention that at the time my then boss was overweight and was not happy with herself? Not only were those unhealthy that moments in my life, I had become used to trying to be someone I was not to try to remedy the negative thoughts. Time to time hop. I get pregnant for a second time and I have reached some appropriate approvals because I am now carrying another human being that created all the new bumps and curves to make her residence a comfortable living quarters. Needless to say, as she moved out of the living quarters, my body returned to its regularly scheduled program. I even received negative dots from the nursing staff at the hospital before and after giving birth. You are having a baby? Are you early? Implying that I could not possibly be full term. After delivering, are you in the right room? This is labor and delivery. Wow. What is the deal with people and my weight? What did I do to become the weight target all these years? Man, those dots suck major. Well, as I matured, I realized that the negative dots that people were easily saying to me were dots of self image that they had not dealt with. They used the negative dots on me as a way to deal with the negative dots they had received from others and those they had told themselves. I admit, when I was younger, I was crafty in some of my responses, yet other times I would hold it in and create my mental checklist of all the bumps and curves that I would one day purchase to make their mouth drop. Needless to say, I didn't hit a payday to go and purchase the bumps and curves that I thought would make me happy and silence the negative thoughts of my youth and full on into my mature life. Instead, I embraced the bumps and curves I do have after successfully giving birth to three healthy, beautiful children who gave me 3 moments of bumps and curves on a temporary basis. The temporary basis was the time frame in which was good enough for me. I am blessed not to struggle with weight gain and weight loss. I'm balanced and I appreciate my petite frame. The negative weight dots that used to send me into depression are now ways for me to help others realize their beauty from the outside in. The comments or negative thoughts that once made me feel ashamed and confused are reminders that everyone has been exposed to negative thoughts one way or another. But I don't have to be a contributor. I wear my building, encouraging, and edifying badge with honor. Today's challenge: flip your negative dots into positive dots. Turn your dots into positive attributes, characteristics, and thoughts that you have heard from others and that you will now tell yourself. Good things. We are not leopards who cannot change their spots, but we have the narrative power to change our dots.